That's new. That's new. I don't know why it's
Okay.
okay. The meeting is going to be recorded and we go live when I see. Oh, it's here. Okay, here we go. Okay, we are live. I'm just looking if it's working because I'm always a little bit
Yeah.
anxious.
I know it says we are live. Yes.
Yeah, it says so. Yeah. And I see us. Okay, great. I can see you doing that. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm very pleased today to have a guest that I wanted to invite a long time ago already because
But sorry.
she wants to be part of the
One second.
interview.
Wait.
So I met Lidia a few months ago and I really like what she does. And she was helping me with some of my clients because Lidia, you are back. So you help teenagers, but I'm going to introduce yourself, or it's better that you are going to that you introduce yourself. I wanted to say that we had already discussions together and really like the input you gave me, because at that time I had parents coming back to me with problem with the teenagers, and yeah, it was kind of heavy, and that's why I was pleased to be able to speak with you at that
Thank you.
time. And that's why I'm very happy to have you today here. I have a few questions. Maybe if you look at us, all of you, you can ask your questions. I'm going to try to see if you share your questions. So Lydia, let me know, where are you from, or let us know, where are you from? What do you do?
Okay. So a little bit of my background. I'm a mom of two teenagers. I'm from Spain, but I've been living in England for 21 years. So I did my life coaching diploma about 4 years ago. I'm also an NLP practitioner. Around the same time, I did both diplomas. I've done a little bit of neuroscience and nonviolent resistance, and all of this is because um, I struggle with my own teenagers. My relationship with my son was completely broken, and I was feeling like I was failing as a mom, and I was thinking, okay, so I have all of these tools as a life coach, as NLP, and all of this, and then I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to manage my kids' behavior. I don't know how to help with the depression. I didn't have a clue. My relationship with him was broken. I didn't know how to connect with him. I didn't know how to talk to him. Um, so I decided that I was going to do research about how the old methods of parenting teenagers weren't working anymore, and how I could change those things, because our teenagers today live in a different era. They are computer based, where when we were like more outdoors and going to the streets, more relationship with our friends. They're doing everything on the computer now, so we cannot parent our teenagers today with the old-fashioned mindset of how our parents did to us.
Right, yeah, it's a new
So,
area for us, yeah.
so just changing that mindset first, and understanding, I started to understand my teen more with all the research that I did. I created a method that you follow 8 steps, and I started to follow this method first with my kids, and then I started to share it with other parents, and it was working really well. And that is what I do now. I teach parents a new method of parenting teenagers that is really working.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for explaining that. So as we spoke together, I think it was in January or something like that, and I asked you because I had one mom telling me, okay, I think my teenager is has depression or something like that, but the teenager said everything is fine, but I can see that it doesn't work, and we have kind of good communication, but still I cannot really help. What can I do? And so my intuition was, well, you cannot really do something if the teenager doesn't want to
Yeah,
move or doesn't want you have to help.
yeah,
But there I came back to you, and can you maybe tell parents, if they have a teenager at home but the teenager doesn't want to have any help, how can they react? Because I think that comes a lot.
yeah. I remember because a lot of what I do is helping the parents also from my memories of being a challenging, depressed teenager.
Mm,
Yeah. I was suicidal when I was 19. I tried to end my life because I struggled with depression since I was 14. So for me, going back in my memories on how I used to feel when I was a depressed teenager is what helped me to, first of all, to connect with my son and to help other parents. So the thing is that if you have a teenager that is depressed, depression can come from a lot of different things. Um, but my tip for the parents would be like, give them a space, keep an eye on them, but give them a space. Don't bombard them with like, oh, what's going on with you,
questions.
what is wrong, what's happening, do you have any problems? Mainly because the biology of how teenagers are growing in their brains, something is happening. So the logical part of the brain is not developed yet, where the emotional part of the brain is fully developed. So it's an imbalance in there. They they know they're feeling a lot of things, but they don't know how to explain it because their brain can't process that part
Process
yet.
it.
Yeah. So asking them what's going on, what's happening, they can't express it because they
Okay.
don't understand it. They just know that they have those feelings,
So
but they,
that's put more pressure on them.
yes, yes. So to me, it's like keep an eye on them, give them the space, and try to keep the ways of communication open without being on top of them, harassing them all the time. It's very common for us because we are worried.
Exact. Yeah.
It's just like being on top of them. We kind of suffocate them, but they need that space for them to process their own emotions too. So
Okay.
it's like keep an eye on them, ways of communication open, and just give them the space that they need. When when they are ready, they will come to us.
Okay, great. I think it great tips. It's not easy to do because indeed when we are worried, we want to understand. I could imagine that I would be like that, like what's going on,
Yeah,
what's going on. But
yeah,
it's indeed it's to try to have the space in ourselves first, and then to give them the space and to just watch out and to let them know they can come at any moment, and we are there
yeah,
for them. Hmm.
yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
It's like um I was talking to someone last night, and he received a message from his, because he had a good relationship with his son, but they don't live together at the moment. So he's with mom, and all of a sudden he disappeared from the phone, and he was worried about his son. He didn't know what was going on, So he sent him a message on Messenger, and his son was a bit angry, saying, I'm all right, just leave me alone. I'm not in the mood, and blah, 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 blah. So he didn't know how to react. He was very upset. I said to him, listen, don't take this personally. Something has happened in his world. He cannot express now. Just let him know that you're there for him, that you are open to listen to what he has to say whenever he's ready, and that you love him no matter what, and you're not gonna judge him. So he sent that message to his son, and then the son said, I love you too, daddy. I'm sorry, it's not a good time. I'm not feeling very well, whatever is happening now. So just give them the space.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here for you.
And the trust somehow.
And yeah. That's the problem. Sometimes we come with the idea that that is still little, that is still babies, and they don't know, how can I say, they don't know better. They don't know better, right? But they're discovering themselves too.
Yeah, and we don't know better than them neither. So
No,
I mean,
we don't.
we are not better because it's not our life. So anyway, we can try to help, but it will be wrong to think that we know better. They
Yeah,
are the expert. It's what I say to my children, even if they are small. I always say to them, you are the expert of yourself.
yes,
I can be there to help or to try to let you understand what's going on inside of you, but you definitely have the best tools to help yourself. And it works because sometimes I have no clue how I can help them, but
yeah,
they find by themselves, and then they come back to me, oh mama, I found a way to be more blah blah blah, and okay, cool.
yeah.
And I think it's the same but in bigger.
I know. With another tip that I gave to parents when they can extract feelings from their kids, when the kids just like go into their cocoons and they don't want to talk about anything, because mainly because they can't express how they feel. I tell the parents, ask them, what is that feeling look like for them? Just like try to get them, give you like a metaphor, the place that you are, the feeling that you have, how can you compare it with? Because I remember when I was a teen, for me was like that depression was like being in a dark room, and I was trying to find the door, or I was trying to find the switch of the light, and I couldn't. That was my metaphor to explain to my parents how I was feeling. For my son was like he's like floating in space, lost, and he has no control of where he's going. So because kids, teenagers can express their emotions, using metaphors is much better for them,
Yeah.
and for us to understand what's going on.
Okay, so they cannot express their emotion, but they can express their word, so they
Yeah,
can show it.
yeah,
I find it's very interesting what you explain, because it's kind of what I do with children. So I do meditation with them, and we speak about the weather and say, okay, what kind of weather inner weather, what kind of
yeah,
inner weather do you
yeah,
have? Is it sunny, cloudy? And then we link that with emotions.
yeah,
And I think, so what I understand from what you explain, so it's that because teenagers are young adults, more or less, so we think that they are very capable to explain their emotion, but not necessarily far more than small children, because their emotions are eventually more complicated because of the
yeah.
change and the hormone and so on.
They're even worse because of what they are, what this the hormones, the
Yeah.
whatever the changes in the brain, whatever stress they have from school, so from their friendships, it's even more difficult for them to express how they're feeling, because everything is just like a big bomb of whatever is happening in the world for them about to explode. And sometimes, most of the times, all that makes them just like go into themselves, just shut down, because they don't want to deal with all that stress from the outside. They just shut down. And sometimes, because they just shut down inside, the little trigger, which is mainly with the parents, just make them explode.
I understand. Do you work only with the parents, or do you work as well with the teenagers?
I work with the parents.
Okay.
Because I'm not therapist. I'm not qualified to work with teenagers. I can be a coach for teenagers, but I cannot give them therapy. I cannot give them counseling. So I can coach teenagers. In fact, I've done it, but I work mainly with the parents.
Okay.
I teach the parents how to communicate with the children and how to rebuild the relationships.
Okay. And that you do that in 8 steps. Do you would like to share your 8 steps?
Right. So, you got me out of surprise.
Sorry, but you said the 8 steps. I would like to know. So I think one is communication, but I'm sure there is. Or
Right.
maybe if you don't say the 8, so I would like to know a few of them.
Yeah.
And I know that you do an event this evening to explain how do you work. So
okay. So I'm running a webinar tonight. It's just like a little tester of what I do, how I work with parents. So my method, what I call the no drama parenting method, it's based on 8 steps. 8 steps that I discovered myself when I was going through the problems with my son. So the first step is the awareness. We have to be aware of us as a parent, our ego, a parental ego, and how we react to the kids' behavior, awareness of what's going on in their world, awareness of underlayer problems that we don't know yet. Can be like that they have mental health problems, or they can have problems in school and we don't know. So awareness of how our parental method come from.
Yes, from the past.
Of our parents,
Exactly.
And we project that into our children.
Yeah.
But as I said before, because of the way that they're growing, the technology era that they live in, we can't not use those methods with them now.
Yeah, we have to adapt.
So my method is based on that, on awareness. And then I talk about behaviors that you can pick and choose, which ones you really need to focus on. Another steps is like, for example, how important is to put yourself first.
I agree.
I think that's one of the most important, because having challenging teenagers and having kids with depressions can be like really draining.
I think so.
Because you put a lot of energy into them and dealing with them, but putting yourself first, it does 2 things for them. One of them is having your own time and looking after yourself will disconnect you from them, and will reconnect you to yourself, so you regain your energy. That will make you a better parent, because when you have to deal with their behavior, you are more calm and you will listen more for them. And another thing that will do is like it will set up a role model for them.
Exactly, I agree. And it's one way to give them space as well, again.
It's a way to give them space too. So that's another one of my steps. What's another one of my steps? In a lot of cases, because of their behavior, and it happens to a lot of parents, and it's really hard to admit, but I'm gonna say it. We don't like our children because of their behavior, and we just don't even want to have them close.
Mm.
That is when the kids are like really challenging, like when they become violent, when they are aggressive, when they treat us like dirt.
Mm, mm.
We totally disconnect from them. We don't want to have them close. So another step that I teach parents is how you can reignite that love for them, and how you can show them even when you think that they don't deserve it.
Yeah, I think this part is very important because as a parent, it is very difficult as well to accept that we want to disconnect from our children because we
Yeah,
don't like the behavior they have.
yeah,
And I think because of that, it puts even more pressure. Like I'm not a good parent because
yes,
and all that puts such a pressure on parents that I'm sure the teenager can feel it on the
yeah.
top of that and so on. So this step, I think it might be a crucial one, definitely. Mm.
It used to be heartbroken for me, saying like, how can I reconnect with my son and have a good relationship with him if I can't stand being close to him?
Yeah.
I can't love this child. It's not that I didn't love him. Of course I did.
Yeah.
I just like couldn't be close to him. I
Mm.
didn't want him close to me
Mm.
because we were gonna kill each other because of their
Mm.
behavior. But I didn't understand that I was causing that behavior too, on the way that I was reacting to.
Mm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first step is really changing oneself
Mm.
as a parent, understanding and being humble, and thinking, okay, what I'm doing right now is not
Um,
working.
I find that very interesting. So the first thing is awareness about you as a person, as a parent, but as well the awareness of the word of your child.
Yeah,
So the second thing is that learning to put yourself first. Then it is to maybe to accept that you have a problem with the connection with your children, with your child, and that it's okay, and we can rebond that if you want.
yeah,
And the last thing you said, that it's really that to be humble, to put your ego on the side, and if there is a problem with the child, show the behavior of the child. It's his behavior and he has a problem too, but it can be as well, not really, it can be coming from you, but anyway, as a parent, you have to see that on your side too. And
yeah,
what I like in that is that I do a lot of coaching with women or with men, and very often they say, "No, I don't see why I should do the coaching because the other is the problem."
yeah,
And usually I say, "Yeah, but you will see. There is a big impact working on you, even if you know and you are sure that the other person is not perfect and has." Even 80% of the charge of the problem, but with the 20% you have, you can change everything. You can completely change the dynamic. And I think it's more or less what you explain as
yeah.
well.
It's um what I try to explain to parents is like the kids don't know better. We have years ahead of them. We've been where they are now. We've been teenagers now. We have to reconnect with our teenagers
Mm,
feelings first so we can get close to them. They are transitioning from childhood to adulthood. They don't know what's going on in their bodies, in their mind. They just know that they have all these emotions and all these feelings, and they can't explain what's going on. Yeah. So it's for us to change the way that we're doing things with them, to be humble, to learn from them,
mhm,
and to take responsibilities of what we're doing wrong, to say
mhm,
sorry to them. I have to say sorry to my child so many times because I didn't know that I was doing wrong to him. I was thinking, okay, I'm the mom, you're the child, you have to do what I say because this is my house and these are my rules.
But that it's difficult.
I was breaking him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was breaking him with my behavior. And then he was just like rebelling more and more and more and more. And it was just like, I was causing it. I didn't know, but I was causing it. Once I changed my reactions to his behavior, once I understood where um, my parenting ways were coming from, once I changed all of that myself, once I changed myself, then I could rebuild the relationship with my son. And I had to send him to live with his dad because it was so bad. But then a few months later, he came back because I changed. He don't have to change. He's learning. They are learning.
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
have to change. We have to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. But I think it's really difficult because I don't have any teens, not really. Slowly coming in the teenager time. But I can remember that a few times I apologized to my sons as well because we had a fight and I didn't react the way I think it was appropriate. So I came back later and I apologized. And maybe they were 6 or 8 years old, and I find it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not
But
easy.
they're small, and I think suppose that when they are teen, it's even less easy, so it's more difficult.
Yeah, because you don't see them as children anymore. You see them
Exactly.
like adults.
Yeah.
In a way, it's the way that our brains work with them is very weird because you see these big kids, adults,
Yeah.
but you still treating them like children.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work. You have to change first, and you have to understand what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And you have to
Great.
be humble, and you have to take responsibilities for how you're behaving with them too.
A huge lesson to learn as a parent.
Yeah. Listening is the big thing that we don't do with teenagers. We don't listen to them. And then they go like, but you don't understand me. I can understand you because you don't understand yourself. But if I'm willing to listen, then they will open up, and they come with their own conclusions to explain to us.
Great. So how can we be in contact with you? Do you have website, Facebook, LinkedIn?
I have a website, but I mainly use Facebook. I also have a Facebook group. I can give you the links later if you want. You can put them in the video.
Yes.
And parents just can contact me on Facebook, on Messenger if they want. I'm out there. If you Google my name, you'll find a lot of things.
Yes, exactly. So I found you anyway. So
It's very easy to find me. So I'm always, well, because it's my passion, because I know how frustrated and the pain that these parents can go through, because I've been there, because I almost lost my child to suicide too. I know how painful it is not to have a connection with, not to be able to communicate with you, with teenagers. Yeah. So I'm always there 24/7 for whoever wants to talk to me. My friends know. On my Facebook, my Facebook friends know.
Yeah, so that's why I really thought that it was important to have you on this call and to let you explain what you do, because and really I had parents coming to me and say, okay, my kids is depressed, and for some of them I could help, but for some of them I couldn't do nothing at all. And I can feel how it is for a parent. And I was, as a teenager, I wasn't really happy neither. So I was depressed, and I was feeling alone and so on. So I can feel as well as a teenager how it might be. And that's why it's yeah, I really wanted to have you
Oh, thanks so
on this call.
much.
So I really hope that it's going to help to my community, and I'm going to share this interview a little bit around. So and I suggest all of you, if you have teenagers at home and it's not easy, just connect, and then maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's not so heavy.
Most of the time, things can get fixed starting with us.
Exactly.
Yeah, starting with the parents.
Okay, great. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Have a nice day, and have a nice day, all of you. And see you next interview then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.